Hello, peeps. Welcome to another episode of R2 Sports Talk. Real fan, real talk. Hopefully, you guys are doing fine. You guys are doing fantastic. So, Lexi, we are going to start this week's episode with our motorsports segment of the show. We're starting with Formula One. It was the Monaco GP. I think one of the most renowned Formula One. Not just Formula One, like motorsports races around the world. And Lando Norris and McLaren won the race. Charles Leclerc finished second. Oscar Piastri finished third. But actually, Max Verstappen finished fourth. And you can notice finished 17th because he just couldn't make it up once it started late and you went to the pit and then come back. But the reason why Max Verstappen finished fourth, because he could have won the race. But this year's Monaco's GP, they added a new rule. The cars have to pit twice. Change tires and stuff like that. But they also have to have 3 tires for the race. So, they have to go from the hard, the medium, and the soft, or whatever order they want. But that makes no sense because Max could have won that race. And if he didn't pay for the second time, he was going to take a 30-second penalty. And since there was no notice cheap pit, no red flag or whatever, so it was crazy. There was no caution flag. So, even though he finished, he won the race. But since, he pitted and he knew he was going to come out because there was like a monster lead to the next car. It was like 40, 50 seconds. So it was crazy, and I personally think that this rule sucks. Simple as that. It made no sense to me at all. So yeah. Now going to the Coca-Cola, to NASCAR, to the Coca-Cola 600. It was a very interesting race, especially because Kyle Larson was trying to do the double. Only one driver has ever done it, Tony Stewart. He did the Indy 500 and he did the NASCAR race that year. So Kyle Larson was trying to do the same thing. He was at Indy, he couldn't finish the race because he got into an accident. And with NASCAR, the same thing, he couldn't end the race. So I just give it a bit of a shot. But now, who won the race? That was my boy Ross Chastain from Trackhouse Racehouse. That's right. He won the race in the last 2 laps. I'm like, man, he looked good. And finally, we got a win. Shane Van Gisbergen, he finished 14th. That was a great ending for him. And Daniel Suarez didn't finish the rest because he was part of an accident that happened earlier. So Trackhouse actually looked very good in this race. There were moments I thought all 3 drivers were going to finish in the top 10. But I'll take Ross Chastain finish first, winning his first race of the season. And Shane Van Gisbergen has been improving lately. He's being more consistent now. And that's good, man. That's good. Now, going to the Indy 500. Again, I don't do Indy racing because I check a lot of motorsports already. So, yeah. But this was like a triple-headed. It was the Monaco GP, NASCAR, Coca-Cola 600, and the Indy 500. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well. It's a triple-header. And Alex Bau from Spain won the race. I'm like, of what I saw, he's the first Spaniard to win that Indy 500, and he has won 5 out of the first 6 races of the season. So I'm like, man, this guy's on the road. So just to see how he ends this season, I'm gonna watch Indy 500, no Indy racing. I'm gonna give it a look. I don't know, but I'll keep more of an eye. Now going to a professional wrestling segment of the show, because there was a lot of wrestling this weekend, a lot of wrestling. We're going to start with TNA Under Siege, which was on Saturday. I'm not going to go to every match detail because there was a few. The matches, they were all good matches. But the one that I want to focus is Joe Hendrick and Elia versus Frankie Kazarian and Trick Williams. Because more or less this is a prelude for the fight that Joe Hendrick and Trick Williams was going to have on NXT on the following day on the pay-per-view Battleground. So, yeah. It was a good match. Again, TNA put in good matches, and Joe Hendrick and Elia won the match. It was good. So I'm like, okay. a good match, a good pay-per-view. I'm not gonna front. It was actually good. It was good to entertaining. Now going to AEW's Double or Nothing 2025. It was, yes, fantastic pay-per-view from beginning to end. I give it a solid 8.5, maybe 9. Mostly the reason because I didn't like that order of one match in between two amazing matches, taking nothing away from that match, which it was Adam Cole and his group, and oh my god, and who the heck they were matching? Oh my god, I completely. Don Callis family. Great match. But it was right after the awesome match that it was. Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Shibata, Omega, Willow Nightingale, Strickland, Swerve, Mark Briscoe, and Hook that showed up to help. So I'm like, man, watching anything after that is crazy. And then the final match of the pay-per-view was Will Ospreay versus Hangman Page. And man, that was one heck of a match. But the best match it was that match, that tag team match between those guys versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. That was the best match that I've seen in a long time. It was good, and I have to give it to my boy Powerhouse Hobbs as the MVP. Because, man, he was impressive. Not gonna front, he was impressive. So now going to the third match of this also triple header of professional wrestling. WWE's Battleground. It's a typical WWE pay-per-view. It don't matter if it's main roster or NXT. It's still lame. It doesn't compete to the other shows at all. Like, simple as that. It doesn't compete to MLW. It doesn't compete to New Japan, AEW, even TNA. They don't compete. But what made this match even worse, and this pay-per-view is worse, period, is that Joe Hendrick lost the TNA World Heavyweight title to Trick Williams. It makes no sense whatsoever. It makes TNA wrestlers bad, like so bad compared to WWE wrestlers. And this is the second time that they make Joe Hendrick look horrible. Because again, on the WrestleMania, he was put in there to fight Randy Orton. Because we all know Kevin Owens was in an accident, wrestling accident, and he has a neck injury. But that was a squash match for Randy, because literally, like within 5 minutes, he beat Joe Hendrick, the world champion, and that was like last month. That was bad already, horrible booking. Because they couldn't make it a match, even if Joe Hendrick would have lost. They would have made the match last 15 minutes and make Joe Hendrick look really good, because we know how talented he is. But now he loses to Trick Williams in NXT. And it makes no sense. Now, unless they're going to give Joe Hendrick to win the match against Trick Williams to regain the title, because he has to, and then fight Oba and win the NXT title, or go to the main roster and win, Intercontinental title. This partnership that they have between WWE and AEW makes no sense whatsoever. It's bad wrestling, bad booking, and it's making TNA, which is a better company, look really bad. I'm just saying. Horrible booking. Horrible booking. Now going to volleyball. The final match of Peru's Liga Volleyball. It was the final match. It was Alianza Lima versus Regatas. The series was draw 1-1 game. And Alianza Lima came spiking, winning, blocking, defending, and they won 3-0. So they are the bicampeón in Peruvian's League of Volleyball. It was fantastic, a great match, a lot of emotion. So now we're going to see what happens next season. And also Alianza Lima will represent the FIBA's Volleyball International Club World Championships, which that's fantastic and that's awesome. And yeah, we're going to kick some ass. So yeah, guys, that was this week's episode. I hope you guys liked it. If you can do me a huge favor, if you could like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps me tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys next week. Nothing but love.